Welcome along to episode 765 of the Milk Bar. Jason Forrest here with you as ever. And coming up on the show this week, we'll be hearing from Chris Gaggs all about the video game Redwall, based on the series of books. Rob Lane let us know about the latest goings on with Improv Wolves. We'll be having a catch up with Jazzy P. Pauline Bennett all about her charity work. Kelly Jeffs, program manager of the Wolverhampton City of Youth Culture, let us know what's going on there. Alice Beer is along, being not only a consumer expert, but also advising us how we can make a brilliant set load of savings if we're using our loyalty points. And we'll be talking about the Smiley Charity Film Awards as we catch up with Simon Burton about the whole event and have a chat with two of the stars of one of the films that's up for an award. That's Alison and Frank from Penny Wolverhampton. That's all on the way on the show this week.
Welcome to the Milk Bar. 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 Welcome to the Milk Bar.
Pauline Bennett is involved in many a project and loves to raise funds for charity. There are two events she's got which are doing exactly that at the moment. She's just here to tell me about both. How you doing?
I'm good, thank you, Jason. How's yourself?
I'm very well, thank you. Long time no see. We just haven't had a chance to catch up for a while, have we?
Oh, I know. Been a bit on a bit busy side anyway, and I know you have.
Absolutely, yeah. But it keeps us both out of trouble, which is what counts. Now, when it comes to it, you've got to say two events. The first of which is very much lingerie involved.
Well, most of them usually are, to be fair. For the last 18 months or so, I've been collecting bras for Against Breast Cancer. And I've collected so far around about 1,500.
Wow,
And
that's good going.
what I'm trying to do is every event that I get involved with, I try and slide and bra collection in there. Just makes it just a little bit different. And out of that, funny enough, as regards to what I'm up to, I've just been made event manager at a venue. So
That works.
I've got a place now, so I can, get people to bring bras on a regular basis, which will be good.
Mhm. So, what are you doing with these bras after they've been delivered to you for charity?
Right, what I have to do is Against Breast Cancer, they call them ABC for short. They will pick up your bras if you have 300. What I try and do is collect at least 8 to 1,000 because that way then reduces the carbon footprint. They can come and pick them up and they only have to make one journey. So I have bra banks around Wolverhampton and I go around and pick them up, have a little chin wag with whoever's got them,
Mhm.
bring them back. I have to put them in a box, print off the label, and then I just basically contact them. They come and pick them up.
And then I take it these are what they're used for charitable purposes. How does it
Yeah,
work?
they're sorted out, and the ones that can be resold are set in one state, and they're sent to third world countries where women have created their own businesses out of it,
Hmm.
out of recycling. They don't get put in landfill, which is really good. And £700 is raised for every ton of bras. So ABC distribute in lots of different ways, even down to the fasteners. They'll go to like a metal works
Hmm.
rather than be bunged, in a landfill.
Yeah, so it's
Um,
either reused or recycled, and the important thing is it's making a difference.
It is most definitely because a lot of the money is used towards research into secondary breast cancer.
Hmm.
Uh, so that's there's not a lot of money reserved for that really. It's everybody finds out wherever they are at that time, and it's always about treatment rather than research. So it'll be good. It'll be good that that can help that too.
Absolutely.
So in order to help that, what I'm doing is I've got a Mother's Day brunch and afternoon tea. I did afternoon tea last year. It went fairly well, but I'd like to have all this time. So I thought this time I'm going to get me some caterers and we're going to have a proper afternoon tea and a proper brunch. So I'm holding that at Expressions House on Sutherland Avenue, just off the Bilston Road. And that's going to be on Mother's Day. So if you haven't got anything done yet for Mother's Day, you need to come contact me and make sure that you get yourself a ticket and come along. We're going to be doing line dancing, karaoke. All the songs are going to be mother songs, so they're all going to be songs with tributes to them in the background,
Hmm.
and we should have a pretty good time.
Sounds absolutely excellent. So, for that event, then give us all the details. How do people get hold of tickets for that?
The quickest route would be because my Instagram's like the shortest on earth. It's just Jazzy P MMS. So if they go along to there, there'll be a link there where they can just click the link and it'll take them straight to the booking form, the info. If somebody can't pay straight away, we've got deposits they can put a deposit down on their
Mhm.
table. So it's pretty easy enough to contact. So if you just go to JAZZIPMMS if you're on Instagram, and you'll find it there. Otherwise, just give a search for me, because you'll find I'm all over the gaff, me.
Yeah, but the thing is, you search for you find out all the other things that you've done, as well as all this good stuff that you got going on now, because you are somewhat, renowned within not only the music industry but the world of dance. So there is an awful lot of your world on the socials, which is absolutely fantastic. And what else have you got going on there? Because you're still teaching dance, aren't you?
Oh yes, most definitely. I couldn't not teach dance. Well, actually, what I'm going to be doing in June is I'm holding a celebration and bridal fair.
Hmm.
So I'm going to be training my little girls to be modelling, because we're doing a fashion show
Yeah.
with African bridal wear and traditional bridal wear as well. So that's going to be lots of fun. So if there are any vendors that want to buy a stall, just then they need to contact me. But it's gonna be a really good event, because we're going to have, yet again, I do like a bit of line dancing. Um, I do. I just want to give a quick shout out to my ladies at Complexions, because I teach an over 70s group as well.
Hmm.
And, because obviously I'm going to be 70 in 10 years' time. So I need to know
We
how it
don't
feels.
believe you. Got to be at least 3 decades before you get to 70.
Oh, I wish, Jace. I really do. But yeah, so I love doing line dancing. So that's one of the other things I'm going to be doing, sort of for my events. I'm going to be doing line dancing classes and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, until the day I drop, like my old dance teacher, Miss Hildreth. I used to go to the Hildreth School of Dance in St Jude's Road,
Hmm.
and she was my ballet teacher, and she died at 88, and she was still dancing then.
That's the way to do it. Keep going. It keeps you young, doesn't it? Which I think makes a difference.
She is my beacon. She's the
Mhm.
one that's my guiding light. It's like, so if I can get to 88 and still be teaching a ballet class, I will be the happiest woman in the world.
Yeah, and you'll have some amazing pupils who will love every minute of it too, I'm absolutely sure. So Jazzy P MMS on Insta is the easiest way of getting hold of this young lady. You can get all the details of where you need to go if you want to donate bras. You can find out more about the wonderful Mother's Day event taking place just off that Bilston Road. And you can also get in touch if you want to learn a bit of dancing too. It's the Insta with it all.
I've actually got another one, because I've got, in the wake of having the Bob Marley film,
Hmm.
um, I've got Legends, the tribute to Bob Marley band, coming as
All
well on
right.
7th of June. So tickets will be available next month. So that's when you're going. You make sure you come down.
We'll have to see what I can do. I'd love to come along. Sounds like a fantastic event. So that would be well worth doing.
Beautiful venue.
Yeah.
So it's one of Wolverhampton's hidden gems. Not many people know about it, but it's a really, really nice venue. So I'm going to be putting on some good events there. So
Right, I'm
make
going to
sure
try and nip down and meet up with you there at some point in the not too distant future. That will
you're on the
work well.
you're on the guest list.
Thank you. Well, for now, Pauline Bennett, Jazzy P, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me, Jason. It's been lovely.
Improv Wolves are once more back in action, making people laugh. Who knows what they're going to do? They don't yet. However, they know where they're going to do it. Rob Lane joins me now to tell me more about what is happening. Hello, sir.
Hello, Jason. How are you?
I'm all right. I hope we're finding you well and keeping busy.
Yeah, we're all good, thank you. Not too bad.
Good stuff. Now, I know one of the events you have coming up is a bit of a charity do, but what else is going on as well?
Yes, so this weekend coming up as I'm talking to you on Saturday, is it the 24th of March? Yeah, we are in Shifnal near Wolverhampton for Diabetes UK, raising money for that charity for our friends, mutual friends, Zoe.
Hmm.
And then on into March, we've got a couple of shows with Black Country Touring, who you probably have come across as
I'm
well.
aware of
It's a
their
group who
work.
organise,
Yep.
yeah, shows in sort of community settings across the Black Country. And we've got a show for them on Saturday, the 2nd of March at West Bromwich Central Library. And then on Friday, the 15th of March in Wednesbury at Wednesbury Library.
So get out and about, all places which are nicely accessible from wherever people listening to this are sitting in the main part, I believe. That means, though, that they all get to have a good giggle, but they can go to all three shows and not see the same thing twice.
Yeah, that's very true. I can't tell you what will be happening in the show particularly because, as you said, it's different every time we make it up. It's a short form improv game format, led a lot of the time by what the audience give us. So every show can be very different because obviously the audiences are different. And though we might play some of the same games or have some of the same setups to get us going, the actual content will vary very much depending on who's in the room.
And it might be quite good for going along to multiple events and seeing if someone comes out with a similar line, and then pointing this out to them as part of the fun.
Yeah, you can certainly do that, and also the cast changes a little bit as well. So
Mhm.
the Improv Wolves. So we've been going about a year and a half, probably, I guess, as Improv Wolves, and we kind of have a rotating cast. There's about 6 or 7 of us on the books, and a show we usually have 3 or 4 of us. So when you come to a couple of shows, apart from the content being different, you'll see some different performers as well, and each performer is brilliant in their own ways, but very different styles as well. So that keeps things interesting.
And you've got so many different backgrounds too. I mean, you got improvised comedy, improvised lineup, and often some improvised skills too. Although obviously, I know you from the world of music too. This sneaks in every once in a while, doesn't it? I'm sure.
Yeah, but the way it says it on our kind of blurb is you might have the dubious pleasure of being present for the birth of an improvised song. So there's a couple of the games that we do that require performers to improvise music. I'll usually be there with a guitar, and yeah, we'll make stuff up on the spot. And again, that's everyone's got a very different style in the way that they do that, so that can be very interesting.
Yeah, and the ability to create lyrics from nowhere, potentially ones that might even rhyme, is slightly a scary concept to experience.
The whole show can be scary, really. I mean, one of the things that people who've never done improv or never watched it will say is like, "Oh, that must be terrifying to do," and it kind of is in a way. But then on the other hand, once you've done it, it's a really useful thing for life, I find, because even if things go wrong, the worst that happens is that it goes wrong. Generally, no one's died in one of our shows yet, so you can literally say no one's going to die. I can't promise, of course, because I don't know exactly what's going to happen. But it's sort of, but it's been really useful for me in life anyway. Generally, when I'm a bit nervous about a situation, I'm not sure what's going to happen. It's like, well, it'll just be like that time in so and so when we all completely died and weren't funny, but we got past it and moved on. It'll be okay.
Yeah, I mean,
Not that ever happens at our shows, of course.
no, I would say it's not something I would expect, to be fair, and nothing I've ever had reports of. But if a joke doesn't work, it's obviously the audience's fault anyway. So that's the audience have got to remember they've got to play their part and laugh at the right point in the script that isn't
Especially when
existing.
they're giving us the suggestions. I mean, bad workman and his tools and all that stuff. But if the stuff they're giving it now, whatever we're given, I mean, obviously the show is funny, but also we have these great moments sometimes where it's not all about being funny. We want to make characters really, and we want to make interesting stories as much as possible. So some of my favourite moments in shows actually are when quite unexpectedly we have a little bit of pathos or something quite interesting happening in terms of the show, and then a big gag obviously straight away afterwards.
Magical moments, wonderful comedy, often in a good cause, certainly to cheer the hearts of those who are there, and obviously on the socials so people can find you.
That's right. Yeah, our website is improvwallscomedy.substack.com. So it's sort of
That's snappy.
yeah, easy to remember. But I'm sure
Yeah.
if you just Google Improv Walls, you'll find us. And you can sign up to the mailing list there as well, and we send out infrequent messages about what we're doing. We're also I'm also doing a workshop this Sunday, which will be the 25th of March. We got asked by a few people if we would do workshops on improv really and starting how it works. So I've combined it with some of the other stuff I'm interested in, and I'm loosely calling it a workshop about improv, creativity, and failure, which is an area that I'm quite interested in. Sort of a big part of improv and all creativity is being prepared to fail and look silly and just moving on to the next thing. So
Oh, improv that fails it can be just as funny as improv that works. That's part of it, isn't it?
yeah, definitely. I mean, and I think it's kind of an ultimate creativity, really, because you have no idea what's going to happen. It's just the combination of you and the other people on stage and the audience. You'll often get to something even better than what you might have planned.
Fingers crossed.
Maybe.
Yeah, well, the dates and everything are all available. Just Google Improv Wolves or look at that snappy website, and before you know it, you'll be laughing, potentially side-splitting laughter. Certainly, improvised comedy is unique, and that's just like the entire team who create this stuff for Improv Wolves. They're all very, very special fellas, and it's going to be an absolutely brilliant time to be had by one and all. That I know from previous reports back on their work. Robert Lane, it's always a pleasure to speak to you. Have a brilliant time with it all, and I'll see you soon.
Thank you so much, Jason. Thanks for spreading the word, and we'll speak to you soon.
Now, this is all about the kids, and there's an amazing computer game which is entertaining the whole family. To tell us more about what's going on with Redwall, I'm joined now by Chris Skaggs. Good afternoon.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for having me.
Well, good to talk to you. Now, tell us a bit about the story here, because this has gone from a book into the world of Netflix and is now finding itself on computers across the nation too.
That's right. So Redwall, it was started as a series of books that back in the mid '80s by a fella out there named Brian Jakes from Liverpool, and he wrote 22 novels that were a sensation across the country and across the world. And we were blessed enough to get a chance to make some video games on it. So we've written a whole bunch of new stories, a whole bunch of new characters that come alongside the books, and it is one of the most fun projects I've ever had a chance to work on.
Well, it does sound like really good stuff, and the fact that, I mean, many books get turned into films. Obviously, it's a script waiting to happen, isn't it? But
That's
when
right.
you get the niche details in a book, and when someone reads a book, there's bits that their own imaginations fills in. But when you see that come to life as part of a computer game, that must be really magical, particularly being part of the creative team behind it.
That was a huge joy, and this is the first time for me as a writer that I got a chance to see actors and voiceover artists really bring that to life. And it's all the different accents, all the different characters. It was so much fun to work with about 30 different voiceover actors, about 6 different authors, all together in a big project.
And that is one of the good stuff about the way things work these days, because it is very much about real life stuff coming together to form these worlds on a computer game. With the Lost Legends of Redwall, the Scout Encore Edition, and now it's on the PS5, Xbox Series XS. There's a PC version of the game as well, and this is all actually going to be released on the 20th of February.
That's correct. So right around the corner here.
With the way this is developed as well, obviously you've got a lot of material to work with. So I feel an expansion pack at least coming on in the not too distant future.
I sure would love that. The truth is, like, there's all the questions now with when Netflix got involved. There's a lot of uncertainty about exactly what comes next. They really got to drive the train. We would love the chance to do more, but we'll see how it happens.
And with the series itself, I mean, what elements have you picked up on? Because when you're doing something like a computer game, there's obviously going to be a lead in this. How does the story start?
So in our case, we set our game about 6 months prior to the first book in the series. And so for people who know, the first book involves where Clooney the Scourge, who was a pirate rat, attacks Redwall Abbey. So we've set our game just about 6 months prior to that, where kind of a local group of villagers have their own encounter with Clooney as he's sort of raiding into the territory, and then have to get to Redwall Abbey in order to save a sick friend.
Now, obviously, you've got to get to the point of which the first book starts then. So in very, very much, you know what the end has to be, but it's the challenge of getting there as well, isn't it?
Yeah, it's such a fun thing because we get to bring in characters that you know from the book as cameos. So for example, you get the chance to see Captain Snow, you get a chance to see Cheese Thief. So readers will really appreciate the cameos, but we've added our own story, our own new interactions with them, and we really want to fill out their character space.
With the development and the graphics, what were you using as inspiration here? Because they say the Netflix series is coming along, so will we see some similarities between the characters, or is this purely from the sort of artwork we've seen in the books themselves?
A little bit of neither, actually. So one, we don't know what Netflix is going to look like. They haven't released anything. And in the books, there were actually several different illustrators who did different bits. So I don't think that there really was an established look for Redwall. So long story short, we got to start something new and set up our own feel. And I think in that regard, we created our own kind of language, our own sort of shapes and colors. And I think you'll really like what you see.
And obviously, these things are about telling a story and you getting to live that experience. I mean, what's your highlight, your favorite bit of the way the whole Redwall experience has come together?
All the Redwall stories that Brian Jakes wrote, they were such wonderful kind of modern representations of really classic virtues. So it's things like, what does self-sacrifice look like? What does courage look like? How do friends behave under stressful situations? They're really, really good stories, just the kind of adventure stories that make your heart sing and kind of bring the best of us to life. And we did more of the same. So for us, the idea of like, how do you take care of someone who's really who really needs your help is really the centerpiece of our story.
And could we see this thing come full circle? Will there be a book based on the game, which is a prequel to the book series?
Well, now that would be something. No one's talked about that just yet, but I love the idea.
Okay, we'll see what happens. But again, this is also a chance for merchandise too, and that'll be interesting to see what comes off the back of that.
That's true. We did a lot of fun with different art books and so even clothing. We designed a whole just all their costumes and everything else, some really fun stuff. So I'd love to see some cosplay. It'd be one of the first things we feel like we really got some connection at conferences, stuff like that. I'd enjoy it.
Well, that sounds absolutely fantastic. Give us all the details of the game and where people find it.
Right. So it's the Lost Legends of Redwall, and it's the Scout Anthology. That should be live on PlayStation, Xbox, and Steam on February 20th. Right next to that is another Steam game called Feasts and Friends, which is a casual cooking game, kind of that cozy vibe, because food is such an important aspect of Redwall in the books.
So combining the two, I like the fact, we've never had really a computer game that actually comes with snacks, have we? So again,
exactly.
this is something else special that you're doing.
We got a whole bunch of recipes that we get from the books themselves, bubble and squeak and hot root soup, stuff like that. So we'd love to be able to bring those to life in the video game, and some of those recipes you can make in real life too.
And is this a game where people will be able to sit around together and enjoy playing it? Is it are there elements that you might put to the group when you're actually playing?
Oh, absolutely. In fact, we've been watching other people do just that because it's very rich in story. There's lots and lots of dialogue. And so we've been seeing people on Twitch and on YouTube who are doing that exact thing, either in the room together on couch or with their streaming friends. So if you're a content provider, I think you'll find this is really good for your audience. And they'd love to walk through it.
It sounds like it's going to be real good fun and something to enjoy. Come the 20th, Redwall comes to life on a computer console near you. Chris Skaggs, executive producer from Soma Games. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Jason.
I'm joined now by Kelly Jeffs, who is Programme Manager for the Wolverhampton City of Youth Culture. Loads of great things taking place across our city. To tell us more, she is here now. Hello, how are you doing?
Hello, Jason. Thanks for bringing me on the show. That's great.
Always good to talk to you, whichever guise we're in. And today we've got some exciting projects which are really making a difference across the city as part of a big spend.
Yeah, the New Hampton Arts Centre, which is the lead partner on this, managed to successfully source a significant amount of funding for the next 3 years to support the cultural offer for young people across the city. So it will underpin activities that have already started and also help to create a legacy for events that have happened over the last 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
One of them being the Same Difference Festival that happens in August in West Park, which is all aimed at young people, co-creation. There's fringe activities with local artists and local cultural practitioners, but also it helps to give them a platform for showcasing music, other art forms. It's just, there's fantastic things happening. So the project will help that festival to continue for the next 3 years as well.
Mm-hmm.
But on it's quite a broad brush of activity that's going on with key cultural venues or organisations from Wolverhampton that do great things across Wolverhampton. So you've got the Wolverhampton Music Service, you've got New Hampton Arts Centre. Also involved is Learn Play Foundation, which is a creative an organisation that supports young people to get into creative industries, helps to signpost them and helps with skills development. You've got the Gazebo Theatre and Education, which is a well-established theatre production group that also support young people with developing their soft skills, confidence, social skills, networking, as well as specific skills within theatre, acting, drama, production, all technical side of things. So that's a great partner. You've also got the Cultural Education Partnership, which oversees the Same Difference Festival that I talked about earlier. And the other key partner is the University of Wolverhampton, which is really interesting aspect of the project. They're helping us with the evaluation process for the project. Yeah. And then I can talk a little bit more further down the line about some opportunities that have come up within this project.
Yeah, I mean, because the project itself is obviously bringing together a large number of different resources and making it accessible. And whilst, yes, we're not expecting every person between the ages of 16 and 25 in our city to suddenly go off and work in the arts, actually what happens is it gives them a taste not only to enjoy the arts themselves, but also, as you mentioned in there, a bit of a confidence booster as well. And yes, there will be a percentage of people who will absolutely shine from certain areas of this and maybe then direct themselves off through to different courses and bigger projects. So that is all, yeah, absolutely a win to start off with. But as we both know, yeah, a grounding in being able to have a conversation and speak to people in public is absolutely huge, whatever it is you do in life. Everything from, somebody who is, a diligent checkout operator in Asda, and I think we've been there,
Yes,
to working, in something which might be, front of house for a theatre venue. You're working in the arts, but it may not be an artistic role that you take.
exactly. There's such a the scope for employment opportunities and for meaningful work. That's what I always am very passionate about, is creating meaningful work for young people to feel that they can belong and input in a way that brings in other cultural ideas and experiences, right through, from diverse communities, but also just inclusivity. I mean, these are all buzzwords that everybody's using, but the arts and the cultural sector is, you know, that's its thing. That's what it's there for, is
Mhm.
to open up and widen people's horizons.
Yeah, there should be
Um,
no barriers. That's the important
that
part. And
exactly,
whether someone's going to go and work in a boardroom but has to present to 100 investors, or whether they're actually doing something which is, it might be running a kids' workshop in West Park,
yeah,
whatever it is, they're all equally valid roles and they're all equally requiring some sort of grounding and understanding of the world of the arts.
exactly. For example, we've already had the project's already had one delivered one big project, one activity event, which was a couple of weeks ago, which was led by the music service and involved the Wolverhampton Symphony Orchestra. It involved the all the schools in Wolverhampton, senior school, secondary schools. I think there were year sevens and eights. It might have been year eights. Forgive me for not knowing that fact. But they all went to the halls, which is the new reopened civic halls.
Hmm.
Fantastic world class venue that's been redeveloped. And they all experience an hour of classical orchestrated music, which ranged, they were selected to 9 pieces of music that ranged from Beethoven right through to a piece from How to Train Your Dragon. So, and the atmosphere was electric. They were absolutely blown away by this experience. Obviously, they were in a venue where they may not have been in a concert venue before. Some of those children have probably never been subjected to a orchestra setup, and obviously the quality of it was very, very, very good. A good quality presentation. They're seeing all the lighting and the quality of the music. What an experience! So, even if it's just a handful of those kids might think, oh, I fancy playing a violin, or I might try. It wasn't just them experiencing the concert. It was led by a sort of a person, a woman who is a composer and animateur, and she gave that sort of bit of an education as well.
Hmm.
So even though it might sound dry to some people, it wasn't. She talked about crescendo and all these technical terms. The kids were really, they were proper sponges. They
Hmm.
were loving it. How
Yeah, and I think
exciting was that?
I think we forget the fact that whatever type of music it is, it makes everything. If only we had a musical soundtrack to our own lives, we'd probably all feel a hell of a lot better about it, or at least know what was coming around the corner. Because in a
Yeah,
drama, it's the music which really does make it. And you don't watch a drama without music. Not even in theatre is there, many dramas where they don't have some sort of incidental music in some way. And the fact that it's classical music that's running alongside How to Train Your Dragon really reminds you it's whatever it is. It's not stuffy, it's not old fashioned, it's part of
No,
day to day telling a story, and it's we all have our own stories to tell, and the arts play a big part in that. And what projects have you got on the way that that are
yeah.
now sort of accepting people?
Well, there'll be basically this just in terms of other events. I mentioned the Same Difference Festival that will happen in August at West Park, and that will be a Saturday daytime, and it's open to everybody, young people especially. But in terms of specific things that we've just put a call out for, which is hot off the press. The project we're calling for a freelance visual arts trail producer. So basically, there will be a project sort of co-created with young people as part of the process to create individual works that will be sort of exhibited throughout the city centre, or it's to help also with city kind of perception. So the public realm will take ownership of these pieces of work that will be created with the visual producer overseeing it, but co-created with young people. So that call's just gone out. So if people are interested who have got experience of being an arts producer, if they go to the New Hampton Arts Centre website, on the opportunities page, all the details are on there to apply, and direct everything to me, and I'll be shortlisting later this month. And the other opportunity, which is more to do with the evaluation process of the project linking to the university, we've put a call out for what we call peer researchers, and that opportunity is really to help the project sort of, I suppose it's sort of helping people to realise how important the project is, but they'll also get a bit of training. They'll get they'll get a fair payment that's linked to what time they can commit to these research projects, and also they'll get travel expenses. But it's almost like getting those people to help us as a project understand the project's impact. So they'll get an opportunity to meet new people, engage with the community, engage with the actual arts and activities that will happen within the project, and it'll expand their skills, and help to, I suppose the key thing really is to help amplify their own voices within the community. So it may be that we get people that are interested, that have got lived experiences, that they may have arts background, but it may be that they just want to see something within their community in a way and able to shout a bit louder with it.
Okay, so
the details of that are on the website as well for New Hampton Arts Centre.
So it is okay. So make your way to the New Hampton Arts Centre, look for the project, and really work out how you might be able to be involved. And this is open to a wide range of age groups, isn't it? I mean, the youth is the centre of this, but the trainers, we're expecting people to have some sort of experience anyway. They may well be in their 20s, 30s, 40s, or beyond.
Absolutely. The peer researchers, obviously, it's great to have a breadth of age ranges involved, but also it's that kind of way for us to integrate intergenerational, experiences as well. So it crosses across everything. But I suppose the other two things which are important part of this project are the routes to sort of pathways for young people to get more involved in skills development. For example, with Gazebo Theatre in Education, again, you can go onto the Gazebo website, and their call for the short taster courses that they'll be running as part of this project. All the details are on the Gazebo website. And again, the same for Learn Play Foundation. They're putting opportunities on for young people to develop digital skills within the project. So again, it's such a breath of fresh air for getting young people involved and getting them to tell us what they want rather than us prescribing to what they should be doing,
Yeah.
because they're the future.
Yeah, it's a mixture of both. Guide them to what they can have, but equally find out what they want and see how it fits in with that.
Exactly, yeah. So it's an exciting project, and also great because it's a 3-year project. There's a bit of longevity there that we can evolve the project and also maybe learn from it in the interim of delivering the project to enhance and improve down the line.
Well, it sounds like amazing work that's been done. Give us the details again on where we go to for all of the headlines.
Yeah, so for the 2 opportunities I talked about in terms of the recruitment process, their details are on the New Hampton Arts website. So that's newhamptonarts.co.uk. And if you follow the project on social media, Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn, it's got quite a lot of information on there on a regular basis. And local, like the voluntary sector, they've put the details on there. Newsletter. So there's lots of channels to access this information.
And what at are we looking for on the socials?
It's at New Hampton Arts Centre in terms of the socials, and then they'll be the platform for this information. But other than that, people can email me, Kelly, at newhamptonart.co.uk.
So get in touch, find out how you can be part of it, whatever age range you're in. Obviously, those are the things that I've been recruited for, and it's going to be another great showcase of talent in our city, which is absolutely amazing. Kelly Jeffs, always love to speak to you. Thank you for joining us, and keep up the good work.
Thanks, Jason.
The Smiley Charity Film Awards are back for 2024, and they are once again highlighting the work being done by a load of charities across the UK. Alzheimer's Research UK have entered a film, and that features a Wolverhampton couple, Alison and Frank Littleton. They are telling their story after Frank's Alzheimer's diagnosis and the subsequent consequences for their way in which their lives have changed. However, there's a lot of stories on there and loads of absolutely amazing people to meet through these awards. One of those people who are behind the awards itself is co-founder Simon Burton. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Jason.
Now, when it comes down to these film awards, obviously it's making a huge difference and being able to share what's going on in a number of charities across the UK. And it's amazing that you're part of it. And it really is a very special organisation.
I think one of the powerful things about Charity Film Awards as a concept and the way in which it works is that it allows stories of ordinary people who are facing huge challenges or facing adversity. It allows those stories to be shared. So 1, it gives those people a voice, and 2, it allows us collectively as a society to talk about that issue and stop it being hidden and seen as something to be embarrassed or afraid of. The more we get these things out in the open, the more we share stories of adversity, the more we can see the positivity and optimism that's possible.
Yeah, and then through the film awards that you have here, obviously this is making a huge difference. Now, it's not just Alzheimer's Research who will be part of this, but it is about the communication side of things. And I mean, film has been a powerful medium for more than a century now. And to actually having moving images and engaging with somebody in that way, it really does bring to life a story that's being told, or in this case, the plight of a family who are in many ways facing adversity, yet still keeping their spirit alive.
That's absolutely correct. One of the things that people said to me when we first came up with the idea for Charity Film Awards 7 years ago was that it would be some kind of tear fest, that it would all be kind of poverty porn, and it just would be so unrelentingly bleak that no one would want to engage in it. And the opposite is true. These are stories of amazing individuals and organisations doing amazing things, making the world a better place. And it is my privilege to be part of the team that shares those stories. If you think to your point about film, nothing has the power to move us like film. It can engage our hearts and open our minds and just change our behaviour in such incredible ways. 500 charities entered the Charity Film Awards this year. And on average, they will have doubled the number of views of the film. So if they had 1,000 views on YouTube when they entered the awards, they'll have 2,000 by the end of the campaign. If they had 100,000, they'll have 200,000. In total, we will add several 100 million views to the films that take part. That's sharing stories.
And it's about, the fact that people know the situations others find themselves in. It's about fundraising for those charities that are there and ensuring that more people who have these conditions are helped. And, you've got a number of different people from a number of different backgrounds. We'll be hearing from a couple in Wolverhampton who are telling the Alzheimer's story and how it has affected their lives. But you've got all sorts of things like the Stroke Association. You've got something like a Grow Live Camden. And there's small groups from around the country who are part of this, and then even the taxi drivers for children and the work that they're doing. These are all little snapshots into charities and organisations. Unless it was for the promotion that you're offering here, we may not even